Hey, what's up? My name's Grant Kanoki. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and artist, and you're listening to Power 98.5.
We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5.
Hey, this is Aaron Konzelman from Team Blake. Be sure to tune into my live interview with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5.
You're listening to Power 98.5, powered by United Angels Dream, your #1 resource for public relations, entertainment, and multimedia. Contact them today at unitedangelsdream.com.
Hi, this is Dan Aykroyd. He's progressive. He's beautiful. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's powerful. He's positive. He is Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
There's a train rolling. I can hear the waves coming on the wind. Maybe it'll bring my love back to me. Maybe it'll take her away.
And all the love I have is yours to take. So careful with me, boy, lest this heart should break. So hold me in your arms until the break of day, until that train comes to take me away.
What a beautiful way to start the evening. I've got Aaron Konzelman. This is Train, the Union Revival. This is Aaron along with his wife, Amanda Konzelman. And to all those that are fans of NBC The Voice, we are now on season 20. I'm going to give a little bit of reading just a small detail about Aaron, but there's so many more layers and depths to Aaron Konzelman. So his parents ran a Christian music studio while he was growing up, so it was only a matter of time before he started singing himself. He followed his passion for music to college, where he studied audio engineering and met his wife, Amanda. The couple now have 2 kids and have moved 11 times over the past 17 years. Talk about resiliency. I'm adding that in there. Always immersing themselves in the local music scene wherever they go. Because of his gypsy lifestyle, Aaron is a self-proclaimed jack of all trades and has worked various jobs, from teaching martial arts to creating essential oils for men's beards. I'm sure the men that are tuning in right now live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5, we got to find out more about this product. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Stephen. Glad to be here.
You know what? You deserve it. And I want to give a big shout out to Sharon Hickerson making this happen. That girl, she's working hard behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, every day, hours and hours. Yeah.
So where did this all begin? Like you've got this band, the Union Revival, with yourself and with Amanda, your wife. You've got incredible tracks here, from The River to Born with a Broken Heart. When did you officially begin your music journey? And did it start with your wife, or did it start way before then?
So I began playing music growing up in a musical family since I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. Actually, I picked up my first instrument. We lived in a cabin in the woods that my dad had built when he retired from the music business. And built a recording studio, and I grew up in the woods, kind of like Huck Finn, and had instruments all over the house, and was learning to play piano and banjo and mandolin and anything I could get my hands on. And I started touring and writing music and playing with bands when I was an early teenager, and just continued doing that all the way up into college when I met my wife. And that pretty much sealed the deal for us together. We instantly clicked and started writing music together and playing gigs around Waco, Texas together, and then got married in 2003. And we've been doing that ever since, all over the country.
How many times have you auditioned for The Voice?
Well, I auditioned for The Voice one other time back in 2015. And just on a whim, my wife and I drove down to Austin to an open audition, and we stood in line for about 4 hours, as you do, and we made it in and got to see one of the producers and sang, and we got a call back, and then it never went any further than that. And so we thought, well, okay, maybe that's not our path. And we just went back to writing music and back to playing and performing up until this last summer.
Were you shocked?
I was really shocked. We had posted a video on Instagram of us just singing. We called it, the COVID concerts. We were hanging out in our living room, and we would find anywhere in our house that didn't have dogs barking or kids, and we would record a little track and post it to Instagram. And one of the producers found our song. We had done a cover of Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone, and they called us and said, oh my gosh, you please send us some videos. We want you to audition for this season. We think you'd be great for it. And so we sent off some videos to them and got a call back about a month later, and they said, all right, pack your bags. We got a ticket for you. Head on out to Burbank.
Wow. I'm really happy for you. I mean, you've got to be stoked. I mean, still, like, has it sunk in yet that you're live on TV on one of the most famous, popular shows that are out there, and my favorite in all time, for 20 years, like 20 seasons?
It's surreal. It really hasn't sunk into me yet. Every time I see someone post a clip of the show, or Blake posts something out on Twitter and mentions me and says, hey, welcome to the team, it doesn't quite feel real yet. I'm positive at any moment I'm going to wake up and this has been just a great dream.
Have you and your wife, Amanda, had spoken word about what this could mean for the Union Revival?
Yeah, we did, actually. When we first got contacted this last summer, The Voice reached out to both of us, actually, and asked us to both send audition tapes in separately and together as a duo. And then when they called us back, they had just decided to go with me for this season. I think they may have already had a few other duos they were looking at and didn't want to have too many partners on there. And they just said, Aaron, we want you to come on. And so that was tough at first, because my wife and I have sung together only as a duo for the last 17 years. And so doing something solo was kind of daunting to me. I hadn't done solo music in a long time. And but my wife is amazing. She is just my partner in crime in everything. She is always with me, always beside me, supports me 100%. And we talked a lot about, anything that happens with me, anything that boosts my career and gets my music out and gets recognition to our writing and what we do, is always going to end up making its way back to the two of us, because we do everything together. We write together, we perform, we go in the studio together. She produces with me. And so we knew it would end up being great for us as a duo, in addition to just what happened with me as a solo artist.
Duran Duran, Ordinary World. It is still my all-time, one of my favorite songs. Were you like inspired to be like, all right, I'm going to go into my blind auditions, I'm going to do this? Did Amanda have any influence? I don't think anyone's ever performed a Duran Duran on The Voice. So
yeah, we were thinking of songs for months, actually, before we went out and trying to figure out what to do. Again, because I've done so much music as a duo, as a partnership, I had to try and think as a solo person. And the story behind that song is, I actually, when I was a really young kid, my parents were really into the contemporary Christian music world. And so I grew up in a very Bible-based, church-based home, and they wouldn't let me listen to secular radio, and until I was probably about 12. And so my brother would secretly record the top 40 and make mixtapes for me to listen to of all the music that was out in the world that I needed to know about, he said. And this song, This Ordinary World, was actually the first song on the first mixtape that he secretly recorded to me. And I wore the tape out as a kid and just memorized the song, learned it. I learned to singing this Duran Duran song. So it has a lot of history with me. And my wife, all of a sudden, one night we were sitting out in our yard by the fire playing music and thinking through songs. She goes, "Oh, Aaron, you have to do that song. You hum that song in the shower. It's like your life song." And it just clicked immediately as, yep, that's it. I have to sing this song, because it was one of the songs as a very young child that brought me into the world of pop music and radio and secular music. And it just, I have a long history with it. So
to share something with you, I can relate to that. My parents who adopted me were the same way. They were also both missionaries, deacons in a church. And I remember I wanted a Motley Crue t-shirt so bad. That and Spuds MacKenzie. Ooh, I got both t-shirts and I hid them for about a month. Well, let me tell you something. Wow. I was lucky to get away a month. My mom caught me. I told her they were a friend shirt. They weren't mine, but eventually she figured out and knew that I was fibbing, and she found them and threw them in the garbage. But she didn't only throw them in the garbage. She made sure she had the biggest scissors she could find, because she also sewed, and she cut those shirts, my Spuds MacKenzie and Motley Crue, in shreds when I went through the garbage, Aaron. And when she told me she threw them out, I did not expect them to have been ripped up the way they were.
Oh my gosh, I can relate to that. When I got a little bit older and my parents realized, hey, the music is going to be his language with the world. We need to let him experience all of it. They let me go out and really start listening to everything and stuff. But boy, I can relate to that.
Thank you for bringing back a memory when you said that. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a listen to the Duran Duran's Ordinary World, where you performed this in the blind auditions. And then we're going to also hear what the judges had to say. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Came in from a rainy Thursday on the avenue.
Oh my gosh.
Thought I heard you talking softly. I turned on the lights, the TV and the radio. Still I can't escape the ghost of you. What is happened to it all? Crazy some say. Where is the life I recognize? Go away. I won't cry for yesterday. There's no ordinary world. So how I have to fight. As I try to make my way to the ordinary world, we'll learn to survive.
The beard game.
Amazing.
Yeah, hey, yo. Hello. Oh my God.
Sit down, Blake Shelton.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Aaron Konzelman. I'm 39 years old. I'm from Waco, Texas.
What?
Waco.
I was in Waco all the time. I'm from Burleson. What? I loved what you went for the high note, and that was awesome and ballsy, and I'm into it.
Thank you.
I am not an option, but Blake and John, well, John is a great option.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't get a lot of artists like you on this show, and I'm guessing you probably perform a lot.
Yes, so my wife and I have been writing and performing together for about 18 years.
Amazing.
We're doing a lot like Americana folk, but a little bit more rock, like that Duran Duran song.
John thought that was Bowling for Soup,
I knew
by the way. Yes,
exactly.
he did. He looked over, he was like, oh my God.
I knew it was Duran Duran, and I turned first.
This is true.
My button has a little bit of delay on it.
Yeah.
They've been working on it all
A little
day.
older, a little
Somehow my
slower.
chair blocked Nick earlier. I didn't even hit my block button. I think you and I musically have way more in common than you and John. And I think playing it safe on this show is important.
That's the key to a rock and roll career, playing it safe.
One thing I've never heard him say is it's okay to play it safe.
It just depends on the artist.
Depends on the artist.
Some
I
artists
have known
on
John
this show, they need to do
to
something
be
crazy.
a little bit more consistent. I want to hear John's pitch because I'm sure it'll be a bit more solid.
It was like the combination of being raspy and angelic at the same time. It's an amazing feeling to feel the joy that you have when you perform. It's very infectious. Not only can you sing, but you're a real musician and you come with artistry. I would love to work with an artist like you.
Andy's not a liar.
Wait a minute.
Blake is gonna lie some more, so.
I am the only coach who doesn't live in Hollywood. I don't ever want to lose sight of my roots.
Wait, what?
All three of you have gone Hollywood.
You came to Hollywood and started dating
None of these three.
Stefani. The
The
ultimate
Queen of Orange County.
manifestation of California girl.
You see how ugly it gets?
I
Aaron?
see it. Oh my gosh.
And you found a way to not lose sight of the person that you are. And I would just hate to see that get lost.
Oh, God.
Aaron, who do you pick as your coach?
Come on home, man.
All right. I'm going to go with Team Blake.
That was an awesome pick, and you did very well, very well with your choice. How does it feel to hear that?
Wow, it's just
yeah.
It's really pretty amazing. I you know, it's true. I have been performing a lot. I mean, I probably do 100 shows a year for the last decade, and I'm very comfortable on stage. But in that moment, it was I may have just blacked out and forgotten everything that happened while I was there. So when I listen back to it, it really brings back the emotion of that moment of knowing that I put all my cards on the table. I did the best I could. I laid out who I was and tried to be authentic and not be someone else and just do what I do. And to have Blake, and John really turn around and acknowledge that and recognize that me as an artist and what I did, it was just, it's really an amazing moment to listen back to and be able to hear that and remember and go, like, yes, okay, I did what I've been preparing for all of this time. And they saw it and they recognized it and called it. And so, yeah, that's an amazing moment.
It is your time. And what I love most with watching that clip is to see your wife. And I love her hat. It reminds me of like a Pennsylvania Dutch hat.
Yes, absolutely. We are hat fiends. The one I wear on stage is the one I normally wear when I perform, but I probably have a closet full of about 10 or 15 others, and she does as well. So we love those old school, Pennsylvania Dutch, Amish kind of feeling old felt hats. We have a lot of those.
What I can really sense about you is you're intuitive. I have a feeling both you and Amanda are intuitive, but you really know how to see through the bullshit. And I have a feeling that you're very visual, and whether you voice your thoughts or feelings, depending on the circumstances, Aaron, I highly doubt anything gets past you. And I'm sure that you're someone that can read people very, very well, and with a little bit of touch of the ability of premonition.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I spent much of the last 23 years, I was a worship pastor in the church world and doing church planting with my wife. We would go around and we would consult with different churches on how to build teams and how to communicate, understanding personalities, how to do music and create environments. And so I think that plays a lot into it. I love people. I love talking to people. I love carrying people's stories and hearing them. And that definitely is a big part of me, is that intuition and connection with people, especially when I'm doing music. I love making connections with people while I'm singing, and kind of feeling the room and feeling what's going on in their heart and how their soul is connecting to the words, and just having a moment, having a conversation with them while I'm on stage.
You're 39?
I am 39.
I was questioning that because I know it's in your bio on NBC, but you don't look 39 at all, and your spirit is so much more younger.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do. I have a lot of joy. I enjoy what I do, and I knew very young what I was supposed to do on this planet, which is to help people, to love people, to encourage people, to come and walk beside people and carry their stories with them. I knew that was what I was designed to do at a young age. And so that kind of is this fire in my belly that drives everything I do, whether it's in years past teaching martial arts, whether it's music, whether it's starting businesses, whether it's running sound. There's joy in what I do, because I'm very content in knowing that I'm doing what I was made to do.
What do we have to look forward to outside of The Voice? Because I know blind auditions should be starting next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. What projects, and any EP, touring, anything coming up? What's happening, due to the pandemic? I know certain states are allowing performances. Do you have any performances later this year, summertime? What's happening?
Yeah. So Texas, just like most of the country, for 2020, it was a whole new world for the term starving artist, because there was no performances. There was nowhere to play. And so we were basically off the road and out of gig life for about a year. But Texas is starting to open back up. And we just started doing shows this last week, actually. So we have 3 or 4 coming up just in Central Texas. We're working on some possibilities for some tours out into the Midwest and out into California and up into Nashville later this year, maybe toward the end of summer. But yeah, we have a lot of music. We've only released the 1 album, and it was an acoustic album that was made to represent what we do when we perform live, because so many of our fans love the way we did things live. We recorded the album live for them. And but we have a lot of music. We have at least 2 albums worth of stuff that we're going to be releasing slowly over the next few months, hopefully, and releasing some singles later this summer, and all kinds of music production projects on the way.
I've got Lover of Mine playing right now as we are coming to a close of the show. Who would you like to give a shout out to, Aaron?
Boy, I tell you, I would love to give a big shout out to my wife for being so supportive in this whole process with me. And she stood beside me this whole time. And she's my producer and my manager and my cohort and my songwriting partner and all of that. And I also would love to give just a big shout out to Team Blake and all of the producers behind the scenes that the world doesn't get to see, that guide us through that process and walk us, every step of the way. People like Shannon and all the other producers that help along that way. This show really wouldn't be what it is without all of these faces that are behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Once again, tune in this Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Battle rounds should be this coming week, because I know I watched this previous week, and I think what's happening is with springtime or something, like things are a little bit loopy. I feel like I feel like I should be like 7 episodes ahead in The Voice. I don't know what's happening, but for some reason it seems different this year.
Yeah, I think it is. I think, the production was slowed down a little bit this last year when we were filming because of the COVID restrictions and trying to do it all safely. And I think their timing is a little bit off this year from how they normally run the show. So people are having to wait a little bit longer to actually really get into the meat of the show.
And it's working, because honestly, for those that are bored or have nothing else to do, you can't rely on Netflix, because I'm surprised for Netflix, they do a crappy job with giving us new films. So tune into The Voice. If you've never watched it, if you stopped watching it, this is a season to watch. 19 was my favorite, but this one is very different. I like it. I know why. the lineup is extremely different from other seasons, but at the same time, especially for Blake, normally it can be a hit or miss of the lineup that he has. But I shared with Shannon over at MPRM, I'm loving his team this year.
It's unbelievable the talent that's on this season. I mean, that's a really true statement that this is just a unique group of people. And Blake's team, our people on our team this year are just some of my best friends now after filming on the show. And I love these guys. They're all incredible.
What would be the best advice you would like to share to everyone who's listening and for future listeners of this episode to go home with, to take with, to embody with, to feel loved, inspired, encouraged, and hopeful?
I would say to always be true to yourself. Know who you are and who you were made to be. And when you find that path, you run down it with fire and never stop. Never let anyone stop you, and never miss the opportunity to show love to the people around you, because you're going to rescue someone's life or connect to someone's life or bring them up, and you're going to get to carry people's stories with you through your life that are going to affect the atmosphere of everywhere you go. So never miss the chance to love people. Find your path, stay on it, run it hard.
And lastly, are we ever going to have the chance to purchase vinyl of the Union Revival or buy the Union Revival?
You are speaking my love language right there. We are in the process right now of picking our favorite songs and singles and working on releasing a vinyl this summer. Yep.
Wonderful, because I definitely want to get one. Sid Kingsley, I have his vinyl from last season. Love it. And
awesome.
Definitely I want a vinyl by the Union Revival. Once again, I want to give a big shout out to Shannon Hickerson at MPRM Communications in LA. You can find out more by going to www.mprm.com and by giving them a call. Aaron, thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. Thanks for talking with me today.
Thank you to everyone who has tuned in to Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5. We are closing out with one of my favorite songs by the Union Revival. Union Revival is Aaron and Amanda Konzelman. They have several other, The River, Born with a Broken Heart, Healing Hands, Lover of Mine. What one of these tracks is your favorite, if not all your favorite? What one would you recommend to someone to introduce them to you and Amanda?
I would probably say the song Lover of Mine, because I think that that's really just the story about a married couple finding love and working their way through the valleys and mountains of relationship, and knowing that as long as they walk beside each other, they're going to be strong, they're going to make it.
Lover of Mine by the Union Revival.
Oh, come, lover of mine, with lips like red wine, let me drink deep. My soul is weary and worn, it's tattered and torn, and talk is cheap.
Oh, come, lover with me, where the river runs deep. Let me take you down. I'll wait in the shade of the night, only for you, without a sound. Hold me to your arms again, and let's forget what the world has to say, and pull me close. Let the fire burn low. We'll whisper the secrets that only we know. Oh, lover of mine, lover of mine.
Oh, come, lover with me, come sink in my arms and wash you clean.
Your eyes, they burn with the flame. I've been calling your name. Come arms again. And let's forget what the world has to say. And pull me close. Let the fire burn low. We'll whisper the secrets that only we know. Oh, lover of mine. Oh, lover of mine. Oh, lover of mine.
Friend us on your socials and let's connect.
All right, guys, hold on real quick. We are getting out of the system.